Each spring, the salmon smolt from the rivers of Western Norway embark on a journey to the Norwegian Sea in search of food. They stay here for a period ranging from 1 to 3 years. The mortality rate during the sea phase from smolt to mature salmon will vary from 70 to 95%. The number of salmon smolt that migrate out and the number that return to the rivers are influenced by many factors. The threats are numerous, such as conditions in the river, hydroelectric development, agricultural runoff, road salt, salmon lice, flood protection, fishing, and predation, to name a few. Through the Salmon Tracking Project, we have contributed over several years to monitoring salmon smolt and determining when they leave the rivers, how they swim in the fjords, and when they are out on the coast. This is the first time the migration of salmon smolt has been monitored so thoroughly. By using cameras, data chips, and radio tagging, antennas in waterways, and registration buoys in fjord and coastal environments, we have accumulated such knowledge that we can implement the right measures to provide wild salmon and sea trout with the best possible living conditions. In the traffic light system that regulates the aquaculture industry, it is assumed that the smolt migrate to the sea evenly over 40 days. However, the monitoring shows that this is a simplified picture. In some rivers, the migration lasts longer, in others, much shorter. In some waterways, the smolt leave collectively, while in others, they are more dispersed. The challenge lies in not utilizing specific knowledge about each individual river, but rather simplifying and generalizing. Exactly what triggers the groups of smolt to start their migration is likely combinations of several factors that can vary from one river to another. The theories suggest that water flow, temperature, and light are crucial, depending on the timescale one considers. Monitoring of the rivers shows that increasing temperature, water flow, and flood peaks result in increased smolt migration, and these factors can also co-vary. Over the course of 2 to 4 years, the small salmon fry will grow into smolt, transitioning from living in freshwater to saltwater, which is a significant change for the fish. Once the smolt has reached the fjord, it seems largely inclined to swim as quickly as possible towards the coast and the open sea. The salmon smolt swims out of the fjord in the upper water layers from 0 to 3 meters and higher the further out it goes. This might suggest that the smolt follows the brackish water layer in the fjord, perhaps to better control its own salt levels in the transition from living in freshwater to saltwater. Some smolt are crossing the fjord without us knowing exactly why yet. In Western Norway, there are several important fjord systems where both the aquaculture industry and wild salmon should be able to coexist side by side. The monitoring of radio-tagged salmon smolt from the Stringelva and Eidselva rivers in Nordfjord shows that the smolt leave the river in concentrated periods in 2 to 2.5 week intervals, the first beginning in May. On average, the smolt took approximately 7 and 3 days respectively from when they passed through the river mouth until they left the outer fjord. That is faster than the figures previously used to estimate the migration of wild salmon smolt. The same trend is observed in the Sognefjord, Hardangerfjord, and Bjørnfjord as well. Both camera surveillance and monitoring with tagged fish show that in recent years, the smolt have migrated out early in May. The speed and timing can vary from year to year. On average, the smolt from the Au River at the innermost part of the Hardangerfjord take 14 to 15 days to reach the outer coast, and from the Granvin River, the smolt typically take 11 to 12 days on average. To implement effective measures that can help the salmon smolt on their way to the sea, the aquaculture industry in Western Norway depends on knowing when the salmon smolt migrate. The aquaculture industry is very concerned with keeping the levels of sea lice in their facilities as low as possible during the period when wild salmon smolt pass by. Through the Salmon Tracking Project, valuable new knowledge has been obtained, helping the industry to know when to pay extra attention.